Okay, YouTube, so I've done a little bit closer examination on this fitting, and you can see there's a tiny line here. And using a tool that my wife has for jewelry, which is a small sanding stick, I'm going to try to flatten out and rough up the area that I want to try to bond. And to do this, I'm going to use UV glue. Now, I know that Joey has a couple of videos where he uses this stuff, and it's called a glue, but it actually welds. So it's a bonding agent, and it comes in a little tube with a little applicator needle. And upon closer examination, I think that my leak is right at the junction of the form line on the top of this fitting and where it's screwed into the bulkhead. So we want to get a nice, slightly roughed up and debris free and then we're going to use our UV pen. It has a small UV light on it, and it's a tube full of this bonding material. This bonding material will stick to glass, metal, and as you can see, there's a small it's kind of hard to see there. There's a small little applicator tip, and I'm going to run a tiny bead of this in the depression doesn't take much. You just want a coating on the area that's to be applied to. And it's kind of hard to see, but I have a coating down inside the divot that the fitting screws into. And it looks like I need a little bit more on that side. Let's add just a little more. It's better to put too much than not enough. Alright. This stuff's kind of expensive, but it's pretty phenomenal when it comes to repairing glass, or you can attach metal to glass, you can attach glass to glass, you can attach plastic to glass, plastic to metal, plastic to leather. You can use it for all kinds of applications, and the way it works is it's a gel that only sets when UV light is applied. So let's apply some UV light. Got it in place, and I'm not sure if you can see that well on the camera, but every place where the glue is will glow blue. And you're looking for about 5 to 10 seconds of UV light. Give it a chance to penetrate the entirety of the glue. And you can kind of see that the glue begins to get slightly opaque when it's begun setting up. Now there are varying amounts of time required for this to truly set, in the sense of, like if you reseal an aquarium, once the silicone hardens, then yes, it's ready to go, but you should really give it a longer amount of time to fully cure and set before you actually use it. So, with any luck, that will solve the problem. And we'll wait a while. In this case, I think I'll wait 4 or 5 hours, and I'll get back to you then. Hey YouTube, coming at you today with part 2 of my RO unit. Now, one of the things that a lot of us are talking about, and you can watch me here as I fill a small glass jar with my tap water, and I hope this is close enough for you to see it. One of the things that a lot of us are talking about are TDS meters. Now, TDS is total dissolved solids, and what it tells you is how many minerals there are in your water, how much calcium, how much magnesium, how much phosphorus, how much everything. And it's a very simple device that for about 15 bucks you can use to tell what your TDS is. Now, put this in, and it shows you, let's see if it's going to focus. No, it won't focus. Well, you're just going to have to take my word for it. My TDS of my tap water is 250 right now, vacillating between 250 and 249. Now, that's kind of a variance because all year long I've been using this TDS meter, and my local water has been between 500 and 700 TDS. So that meter is a way for you to keep track of what's going on in your local water supply as far as hardness goes. Now, it's something that shouldn't change very often, but it does sometimes. And I'm going to hook this unit up backwards today because, as you'll see in the upcoming part of this video, I have tried to effect a repair on this small leak that I had. Got to get my clip. So I've attempted to repair the unit, and we will see if my repair worked. Now, I sanded the fitting itself where it screws into this bulkhead, and I used UV glue to repair it. Now, you sand it because any kind of glue or weld or bond is going to do better on a roughened surface. So I used one of my wife's jewelry tools, which is a small stick with a sanding grit on it, and I welded it with the UV glue. Now I've set the unit up backwards today so that we can see if I was effective with my repair. And we'll go ahead and turn it on. From what I can see, nope, it's still there is the tiniest drip still coming out. It is reduced by 20%. So reduced by 80%. So it's still a tiny drip. So I obviously didn't get the full seal on the unit, but it's going to be acceptable enough to use as a unit like that. Now I'm going to get some of my RO water here that is coming out, and we'll do a TDS test on what's coming out. Now there is a small amount of tap water in this jar still. I'm not going to quibble about a little bit, but I want to get enough of it in here to show you that the output of the RO unit is taking 250 TDS tap water. Rinse it out with the RO water. And turning it into something that I can use in a fish tank that requires extremely soft water. And soft is a designation of TDS. Some people will tell you it's pH, but it's really not. pH is a designation of hydrogen ions. TDS is a designation of hardness. If water is very hard, it's likely to have a high pH, and it is also likely to be buffered very well. The pH will be very stable and will not rise or fall very much when put into a situation where it's in use, in the sense of using a Alright, so I've got some RO water in the little jar, and I am reading 000. So there is no hardness in this water anymore that's coming out of the RO unit. It has zero hardness. And what that tells you is that there is going to be almost no stability to the pH of this water. There is no buffering going on by minerals. There's basically nothing in it but pure water. And because of that, you can use this water to lower pH. You can use this water to, of course, use for soft water fishes, Amazon fishes, any fishes that require soft water will love this water. Now, of course, it has absolutely zero minerals in it. So you're going to need to buffer this water if you have plants, because plants require minerals to function. And of course, there's none in this at all. So I still have the tiniest of drips on my repair job. I don't suppose you can actually see them, but it's so small and so minute that I think I'm going to call it good. I may need to wrap a rag around this unit when it's in operation to allow it to not drip water over wherever I finally end up mounting it solid. But there you go, a small tutorial on repairing and setting up and operating a RO unit. Now this is a temporary setup, but it will be mounted solidly someplace in the future, and where it can feed water to a holding tank, and I'll figure out something to do with all the excess water that comes out of the waste line.